A comment that we often get on our YouTube videos is, that's a nice kit, but it's a little out of reach for the working drummer.
Well, today, we see you, working drummer. We have 5 of the very best kits under $1,500 for the working drummer. How's it going, everyone? I'm Adam.
I'm Tony.
And we work at the Drum Center of Portsmouth, the largest independently owned drum store in the world. All of the drums and cymbals that you see in today's video will be available for purchase, and I'm going to put the links to purchase them in the description below. Today's video is all about the working drummer, and we're going to showcase 5 kits under $1,500 that we think fits the bill for a working drummer. And Tony, how did we go about choosing these kits?
When it comes to a drum set for like a working drummer, there's a few things that I personally look for. Obviously, one is value. You know, you're playing these gigs, you're not getting paid a lot. It's got to be affordable. 2 is high quality hardware and features. It's got to be reliable. You got to be able to tune it and have it kind of hold its tuning and be able to set up reliably each time. And 3 is sound, and like, you know, having different options for each type of sound that you might be into. You know, something that's bright and modern, or something that's kind of vintage and vibey like this kit here. You know, there's going to be something here that will speak to you.
Yeah, we've got a pretty good spread as far as different flavors of gigging kits. So let's get right into it. And actually, let's start with the cymbals that we chose today.
These are a really good working drummer's cymbal setup as well. These are the Istanbul Egop Exist cymbals. We have 14-inch hi-hats here, a 17-inch Brilliant Crash, a 22-inch Power Ride, and an 18-inch Exist Ion Crash.
The Exist are an excellent value indeed. So let's get right into the first kit. And Tony, I know you like this kit very much. This is the PDP Concept Maple series. This is a 3-piece configuration with a 13x9 rack tom with no mount, 16x16 floor tom, and a 22x16-inch bass drum. The shells are European maple, and they actually have European maple hoops as well. We've got dual turret lugs, vintage style claw hooks. We have the True Pitch 30 tension rods, and we've got some Chinese Remo pinstripe coated heads. This 3-piece configuration will run you about $1,200. I know a while back, it was a long time ago now, we did a feature on a PDP Concept Maple that I think similar sizes, but had a 24-inch?
24, yeah.
And you really like that kit.
I love that kit. And the same kind of holds true for this, you know, with the 22x16. They have so much like character, and they just have a sound immediately. Even with these inexpensive heads, they feel really nice to play. The stick just melts into these heads. In this kind of price range, in this kind of like lower priced area, oftentimes you don't find a kit that has its own identity. And I find that right away these drums have a sound and a feel and just an overall way that they make you feel when you play them. So I've been a huge fan ever since we did that last video.
And the snare drum we're using is also a Concept Maple. This is a 10-ply, 14x5.5 in a black wax finish, and it's $219. So for the 3-piece kit and the snare drum, you're looking at under $1,500, and I'd say it's a great value. The only real drawback I see on this kit as far as like gigging drummer terms is that there's no bass drum mount on this. We have this on a tom stand mount, which is fine. Like the drum sounds great on it, but maybe it's not the most convenient thing.
No, I mean, you could probably put, and I should know this, but you can probably put the PDP Concept suspension mount on this particular drum, so you might be able to retrofit that in a way that would work. I know that it's kind of done this way for the vibe as well, but you know, it's not too bad either.
Yeah, they're going for a vintage aesthetic, modern vintage aesthetic, and looks great. Next we have this Pearl President Series Deluxe. Now this is kind of a step up. This is at the highest end of our price point. This is also a 3-piece. It is 13 by 9, 16 by 16, and 22 by 14. The most notable difference in this drum set is definitely the shells. The shells are made of Luan. It's a very, very soft wood, so you would expect the sound to be quite different, very boomy, very vintage sounding. This kit has a ton of cool features. I really like their battleship lug design. The toms have these internal mufflers, which are great if you're a gigging drummer. Gives you a lot of flexibility. Engineers will like you. The bass drum also comes with a very cool rail mount, so you have the convenience of being able to mount your ride cymbal or whatever on that thing.
And another thing worth pointing out, it is the only one in this group that is a 10-lug bass drum.
And while the heads are Chinese UT Remos, they are black dots, so that's a nice touch. So yeah, very different vibe from the rest of the drum sets that we're hearing today. What do you think of these?
I really enjoy these, especially the toms. The toms have this really kind of full, round, I don't want to say tubby because that's usually used in a derogatory way, but they sound really nice and full in the lower kind of lower end of the frequency range. Not a huge amount of like sharp attack. That's really noticeable on the bass drum. I think this bass drum would definitely benefit from like a Power Stroke 3 or something of that nature would bring out a bit more attack, which would balance a little more with the kit. But I really enjoy the kind of overall like fullness and roundness and vintage vibe that these have. They just, you know, they're fun.
And I will say when I put all these drum sets together, when I put this one together, you could really tell that this is a well-made drum set. Its fit and finish is great. All the components are very nice. Just a really cool, fun drum set. And the snare drum we paired up with this is a Sensitone alloy steel, and it's 14 by 5. Mm-hmm. Great little snare drum. It's about $300, so when you put it together with this 3-piece kit, you're a little bit over that $1,500 mark, but you know, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Here we have the Yamaha Stage Custom Birch. This is a 4-piece configuration. 22 by 17 bass drum, 12 by 8 tom, 16 by 15 floor tom, and the snare drum is 14 by 5.5. And this comes with a single arm bass drum mount for the tom, which is nice. The rack tom uses the Yes system, which is great. Drum rings out These have the lighter 1.5 millimeter triple flange tubes, which allows the drums to open up just a bit more. And this will run you about $1,100. Anytime we feature drum sets under a certain price point, really you have to include the stage custom. This is an unbelievable value. This is a decidedly modern sound compared to some of the other kits. It's very clear. The Birch sounds great.
I really like these. They speak quickly. They have a very nice feel to them. You know, the bass drum is definitely a lot more modern and punchy. And the best thing about them to me, and it always will be with Yamaha, is the hardware. Super big consideration, especially when you're picking a drum set for gigging. You want that consistency, that ease of use, the reliability, and this definitely has that.
Yep, I love the absolute lugs. The single tom arm is easy to use, rock solid. Great drum set.
If we're talking about value, it's kind of hard not to include the Gretsch Catalina Club. This is a 4-piece configuration, 12 by 8, 16 by 16, 22 by 14, and a matching 14 by 6.5 snare drum. The Catalina Club has some different shells in this comparison. We have 7-ply mahogany shells with 30-degree bearing edges. They have 1.6 millimeter triple flange tubes and a low-profile GTS suspension system for the rack tom, which is mounted off the bass drum. I love the sparkle finish, and it really is a great value with a 4-piece with a mount coming in well under the $1,500 price point. Tony, what do you think about the sound?
So I really like the way this kit sounds. The toms have this like kind of open, transparent stick attack and a good amount of low end to them. You know, these heads are not gonna last. These heads are inexpensive and they get the job done. They actually sound kind of nice like right away, but you know, they're not gonna make it through a whole heck of a lot of time. One other point I'll mention too is I struggled a bit with the snare drum. The snare response just wasn't working well for me. I think I got it to a point that was serviceable, but you know, keep that in mind. You might want to change out the snare drum for your own tastes, you know, at some point.
Yeah, if you're a working drummer, you want your snare drum to perform. You're going to be using it a lot. So maybe a cheaper metal option would be a good idea. Maybe grab like a Superlight or a Sensitone or something like that. And you would still be right around that $1,500 price point.
There is a new version of this kit coming very soon. We just don't have any yet, and we still wanted to make sure we included a Catalina Club in this video. One thing is there's going to be a new suspension mount for the rack tom, which will be the same style that you find on the Renowns, which is a much nicer system. And there's going to be a new throw-off, which, who knows, maybe that will help with the snare sensitivity issues.
And last but not least, we have the Tama Superstar Classic. This is a 3-piece in Indigo burst. We have a 12x8 rack tom, a 16x16 floor tom, and a 22x14 bass drum. This is the most affordable out of all the kits that we're showing you today. The 3-piece comes in at only $829, making it a really good value. As you can see, the bass drum does not come with the tom mount, so you're going to have to mount the tom with the MC69 tom holder, which is provided.
Nice.
These are 100% maple shells, and they are quite thin at only 5mm 6-ply on the toms and 7mm 8-ply on the bass drum, and they have 45-degree edges. I like the sound of this kit very much. How about you?
I did as well. This, to me, had kind of the most full-bodied, open, kind of lively sound. There was a lot of stick attack, but a lot of tone as well. These heads are very thin, so they definitely have that kind of transparent crack to the stick attack that I really enjoyed. The bass drum was by far my favorite out of the group. Man, that thing is awesome. It's got tone, but it has attack as well, and it's really balanced and felt good to play as well. And yeah, I really enjoyed this kit.
And the snare drum that we're using with this kit is probably my favorite snare drum out of the group. It is the SLP G-Hickory. It's a newer offering in the SLP line. Very thick shell, and you know, it's very well made, and it's a little more expensive at around $450, but even being more expensive, it still fits with this kit under the $1,500 price point. So it's a great value. that is our list of our 5 current favorite drum sets under $1,500, appropriate for the working drummer. Let us know which one is your favorite in the comments below. We always love to hear your feedback. And I would love to hear which one was your favorite, Tony.
Okay. Well, my favorite is the PDP Concept Maple Classic. So the reason why I chose that is, not just because it sounds good or looks cool or anything like that, but I personally like when a drum set has an identity, and I think I mentioned that earlier in the video. It doesn't just sound like a generic drum set. It's got its own thing, its own feel, its own kind of style. Even at like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, there's not a lot of wood hoop kits that have all of what that kit has. So you're getting a really unique sounding drum set, a really unique looking drum set that sounds and feels great, and it's affordable. So
yeah, I love the sound of the PDP. For me, I don't know, it's kind of a toss-up between this Tama kit here and the Stage Custom. If it were me looking to just get everything I need to have a kit to throw in the back of a van and take to a gig, I'd probably give the edge to the Yamaha just because it has the bass drum mount, very modern sound, great value. For me, it would have been the Tama. I prefer this finish. I think I prefer the sizes on this Tama with the shallower bass drum, but not having the bass drum mount kind of gives the edge to the Yamaha. But honestly, all of these are great, and they would serve any working drummer very well.
This was a really fun video for us to make. If you thought it was great, if you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing. It really does help us, and it makes it so we're able to make more of these.
Yeah, and for all of us here at the Drum Center, thanks again for taking the time to watch it. We'll see you in the next one.